Hello again, guys, and welcome back. So, as we wait for the official preview season of the MTG Avatar set, let's just still take a look at some of the deck builds that we have with the Spider-Man kind of affecting the format. And today's deck feature, as I found from a recent Magic the Gathering online results, I think it got on the 7th place. I didn't saw the number of players, but it was quite notable that it was able to go beyond the top tier decks such as the Izzet VV Cauldron. And this deck is what we call as the Sultai self-mill. So it's basically going with the three colors, which I will discuss in a bit why it has chosen this. So let's check on the drop of the card types. We have 23 creatures, 1 enchantment, 24 lands, and 12 sorcery. So while is it a mill, but it's labeled in the tournament as Sultai Aggro, let's check on the creature choices. So if you have seen a previous build for this archetype, it comes composed of several familiar cards, but for this one, this deck is kind of going also with some of one of utility creatures that might have been suited for this kind of deck build. So let's take a look at the core maybe core creatures, as we can say. So we start off with the 1-drops. So we have 4 copies of Lorwyn Elves. This is important for green-based decks to be able to ramp early on and cast your relevant spells earlier, as a turn earlier per se. So we have 4 copies to be more consistent. We have copies of playset again of Insidious Fungus. So this creature is from the Dustborn set, an uncommon 1/2 creature that has the ability to pay 2 sacrifice to destroy enchantment, artifacts, or draw a card, and then you may put a land card from your hand into the battlefield tap. So it's like explore card on a stick, but since it's a creature, it will later on be relevant to another specific card for this build. So the other one of here are 2 copies of Moltender. So Moltender is a 1-mana cost insect druid for 1/1 that can mill a card, and then you can exile a card from your graveyard to add 1 mana of any color. So this kind of also ramping up your board while also giving you instances that self-mill can become a benefit, so that you can also fill up your graveyard. And for the 2-drops, let's kind of skip this one because it is a conditional X, so you can cast it more efficiently in the late game. So the 2-drops in this deck is Overgrown Zealot. So this is also a 2-mana cost ramp with this effect to the add mana of any color, and then you can add 2 mana of any one color to turn face up for permanence. But I think the purpose here is that it can have a 0/4 creature that can block early assault, maybe from aggro decks, maybe specifically mono red, and can also ramp you to your best spells in the late game. So before we go with the several one-ups here, let's take a look at the 4-drop, which is also 4 copies in the deck, is Icetail Explorer. So Icetail Explorer is a 4-mana cost 2/4 insect scout that has the ability to get you to play additional lands and then play lands from your graveyard. It's like a what do you call effect, the Crucible Worlds, and also trigger you that whenever you land you enter, you will mirror card. So milling also is important here, as the name of the deck suggests. So filling up your graveyard also gets you to play those lands from your graveyard, as well as get you a self-mill effect. So for the 1-ofs here, wherein this deck would come into a sort of utility creatures. So we start off with Sandman's Shifting Scoundrel. So it's an XX power and toughness because it will depend on the number of lands you control, and it can't be blocked by creatures with power 2 or less. It also becomes relevant against tokens, particularly because they won't have champ blockers to block this creature. And this also effect is that you can return this land and target card from your land card from your graveyard to battlefield tap by paying 5. So at any case, in the late game, it will become your good mana sink to become this creature as a recurring threat for your opponent as long as there are no exile effects. Sandman can be a very formidable threat in the late game. And the other one of here is Overlord the Belmark. So I'm not sure in this build why it has become like only a one of for this build, but we know that this would be also a good self-mill effect because you can just cast it for its opening cost. It will enter the battlefield or attacks mill 4, and then you may return an avatar creature from your graveyard planeswalker card to your hand. So this would be a good inclusion for this deck, but it's only one of for this build. We have also a copy of Damage Control Crew. This and also have the effect to exile a creature, a artifact or enchantment, or return target card with mana value 4 or greater from your graveyard to your hand. So in any case, it's very good utility card. And the two obs for these decks, the creatures, are Disruptive Stormblood. So this would be acting as a spot removal early on for the Omen effect, and can later on become a good disenchant effect because when it enters, it can destroy up to one target artifact or enchantment while also having a 3/3 dragon creature with flying. And also the other two drops I've mentioned, because this is a good mana sink in the late game, is Morlon the World Spiders. This is a 2 black mana in X. When it enters, you put X counters on it, and then it has a lifelink effect that whenever it enters, it deals X damage to target opponents. So it's also a good way to deal non-combat damage if you have maybe set up a good mana and additional mana with Ice Steel, playing all those lands from your graveyards, and also getting this to hard cast for X mana to deal that necessary damage to your opponent. So that is your creature lineup. The only enchantment here would be Nowhere to Run. This is also spot removal, but I think what the deck implies here is that your opponents would not have this ward or hexproof trigger disabled. So having those creatures that having those hexproof or ward would make them still be very vulnerable to your spot removals. So that is your lone enchantment. But before we go to the lands, we check on the sorcery. So would be your utility cards and probably one also of your main win condition. So let's explain each of them. Esper Origins is your 2 mana cost sorcery with Surveil 2 and gain 2 life. So surveilling means that it can also get you to have this what you call this, a self-mill effect, while also getting you life gain, which is also relevant to their opponents, especially the aggro. And having this effect, if you get to flashback this, it will be exiled and transformed with the finality counter, wherein you get this effect. It is summon Esper Maduin. So this is a 4/4 creature that goes with trigger that reveal the top card library. If it's a permanent card, you will put it in your hand, and then also ramp you to 2 green mana, and then have an effect that other creatures you control gets +2/+2 and gain trample. While this can be relevant in some cases, the important thing here is that you can get to self-mill and gain 2 life, and also get a 4/4 body in the late game, which can be still able to develop your board and get you some card advantage. And the other 4 ops here for your utility cards category are 4 copies of Winter Night Stories. So this would be your splash card for this build, wherein you will draw 3 cards and then discard 2 cards unless you discard a creature card, and can also be harmonized for like kind of a flashback effects for these builds. And your other main condition for winning is Season of Loss. So this is 4 copies in the deck. It makes sure that you have this card to be able to draw at the nearest exact moment to win as possible. So this has effect of modes for this symbol. You can choose the same mode more than once, but this is only the main effect, because each of them thus only becomes like a utility effect, such as sacrificing creatures. If they're relevant threat from your opponent, you can just choose this one, and choose also more than once for this 2 sacrifice effect. Or you can play 2 to draw a card for each creature you control that died this turn. And the main win is each opponent loses X life, where X is the number of creature cards in your graveyard. So all those self-mill effects would come into a good use in the late game as you get to hard cast or cast this for a good utility to have your opponent lose X life. So that is 4 copies in the deck. It's make sure also that you can draw it. And aside from that, of course, as mentioned, Morlon, Devourer Spiders will be your other win condition to have it deal X damage to target opponent. Now for the lands, since this build would go with the self-mill and playing additional lands, we have 24 lands at our disposal, including the relevant 4 orbs of Fabled Passage to make sure that those cycle or sacrificing, fetching these basic lands would also be relevant because of the Ice Explorer's effect. So let's check on the other non-basic lands here. We have 3 copies of Blooming Mars, a copy of Breeding Pool, a copy of let's say the Cavern of Souls, because you need also to name creature types that can be countered. And the other here are Starting Town. This is a good mana fix because it's Sultai, so need to have this good utility card to fix for this deck. And we also have Westwood Birds as the black-green birds included, and Watery Grave for the blue-black access for the islands and swamp. And also a lone manland for this. It might also go with self-mill because you can target yourself for milling 4 cards. It also adds as another threat of effect if needed for certain situations wherein you can attack for free damage. And your basic lands are composed of 4 forests, 1 island, and 2 swamps, for a total of 24 lands for this build. Now let's take a look at the deck stats. It's primarily Golgari, so it has 29 for green, 17 for black, and 1 for blue. It's only, I think, 4. This is 4 in the main deck because of the Winter Night Stories, and production is pretty much even. This is kind of confusing for this, but I think this kind of build is enough given that you still have your 1 mana cost cards here to do some mana fix of adding mana Binicolor if needed. And the average mana value is 2.72. It's very low for this one, but I think the late game would still be relevant because you're casting 5 mana cost with the Season of Loss and doing a mana sink on Morlon, Devourer of Spiders. And last but not the least, do we have any tokens? We don't have tokens for this build, but I think for the sideboard setup, we have, I think the deck has some of the choices with using other relevant spells such as Soul Guide Lanterns, Gold Vacuums, Scavenging Ooze, Strategic Betrayals, of course, spot removals, and enchantment removals with the Scrap Shooter and the Swarm Weaver for more effect to benefit the graveyard. So I think that's pretty much it for this build. Again, we have Sultai Self-Mill for Magic the Gathering Spider-Man Standard. I think it will be further improved with the inclusion of Avatar set, but we will still see how the deck will prosper with the expected or maybe the anticipated bannings that will happen next month. And again, guys, thank you for watching this one. Don't forget to like, subscribe, notifications on, and see you guys on the next video.